Known for her eclectic and iconic prints, fashion designer Masaba Gupta is a name to reckon with in the Indian fashion scene today. And now she dons a new avatar. Star of the Netflix show that has been on her life itself, a fictionalized version called Masaba Masaba, which has made its debut on the 28th of August. I chat with Masaba Gupta about being an entrepreneur, the show, and how she manages her money. Masaba, thank you so much for joining in. Congratulations. A show that's based on your life. Did you ever imagine that this would happen? How does it feel?
Well, it's a bit surreal for sure, but at the same time, I was, when they came to me with the offer, I said, "Are you sure my life is interesting enough to make a series out of?" And they said, "Yeah, well, totally." So I said, "Okay, sure, let's give this a shot." But it's surreal. It feels like I'm living a dream at the moment, but maybe one in a certain way that I've had for a very long time. So it's all good. I'm very excited.
ओ भैया, ये तो मेरा प्रिंट है।
अरे मैडम, ये इम्पोर्टेड माल है, मसाबा प्रिंट है।
और मसाबा कौन है?
वो कंट्री है अफ्रीका में।
And I understand that this is a show that packs it all, you know, laughter, tears, inspiration, and something that women can really resonate with. So tell us a little bit more about this series.
So it's a series. It's a six episode season, and it covers everything from my relationship with my mother to what the fashion industry is like, what my journey in fashion has been like a little bit, my relationships with friends, romantic relationships, and what it's like to date in 2020. So I think it just kind of covers everything possible, and I would say it's not just a show for millennials; it's a show for everyone, including middle-aged men who seem to have loved the trailer very much. So I think that's exciting because it covers you know, our daily lives in a way that you feel like a door has been left open in our rooms and you kind of get a peek into it. So I think that's exciting, and it's a great new format for India. I think India has never seen something where, you know, you're doing part fiction, part reality. So that's exciting, and it's a lot of fun.
That sounds very interesting. Let's talk and backtrack a little bit about your journey into fashion, because I understand that you won a lot of awards at your graduation fashion show. You applied to SNDT. Would you say that fashion sort of happened by chance for you?
Yeah, I think it's something that came to me as opposed to me chasing it. And I think that I was studying music before I went to SNDT. I was doing dance with Shamak Davar before that. So it's been a really fun ride because I never really wanted to be a designer. Once I joined the course, however, I think the initial few months were a bit tough, you know, just to break into. But after that, I loved it, and I think I enjoyed it so much. But somewhere at the back of my mind, I think I always feel like I'm meant to do more things. I don't think I ever resonate with just one type of thing. I think I'm a creative person, I'm an artist, and I want to lend myself to as many things as possible, the way I see it.
You know, this series seems to really portray your life very closely and very realistically, from the celebrity do's to even having very personal moments and, you know, breaking down of the bottle of wine in your hand. How much of it is fiction and how much of it is actually your life story?
I think I would say percentage-wise, 70% of it is fiction and 30% is reality. But what we've done is that we have tried to make the fictional moments or the scripted moments as real as the ones that are real moments, you know. So and even the moments that we've talked about which are scripted are either things that have happened to somebody I know or around me in fashion. So it's something that's always it's something I've experienced either firsthand or passively, you know. So I think I was very clear that in order to make the show as real and honest as possible, we have to be a little vulnerable in the parts that I share my real life. But I was also somebody who have always been guarded a bit. So I like to keep the private moments private. But there are things that I've let out to see for the world. And yeah, I think it's for the audience to judge which part they resonate with and connect with, I think.
Well, you know, you've gone on record to say that your biggest source of inspiration is your mom, Neena Gupta, and she too stars in the series along with you. What's the dynamic like? What was it like working with her, and how do you guys share a professional as well as a personal relationship?
The thing is, it's kind of towing the line between a friendship and a very strict mother-daughter relationship, with all its rules and regulations in place. So the way I see it is that, we are friends when we need to be, but there is a line that we don't cross as parent and child. And I think that the dynamic has always been that, whatever we do, we should have a sense of humor about it. And I think that is so strongly represented in the show, that whatever happens between us or with anybody else we know, or anything that's happening to us, we just take it with, we laugh at ourselves. So I think that's something that has been really represented on the show.
Well, that has certainly been exciting, Masaba. Let's talk about you being an entrepreneur, boss woman, if you will. You've built your own business, and it's fairly trying times for a lot of people right now as well, who have their own business, who have been forced to even become their own bosses because they've perhaps been laid off or don't see the same opportunities for their career. What advice do you have for them?
I have always felt like whenever you're a woman and you start your own business or you're an entrepreneur, everybody else decides what the life of your career will be. They just decide for you. They say, okay, but now once you're 30, you'll be married and have children, so I guess that's not going to happen. Or your work will take a backseat. So I think all these things just kind of automatically, people decide for you, oh, now this is going to be the end of her career. But and the second thing is, a lot of people look at fashion as a hobby. Like they say, oh, she's a girl, she's doing fashion, so uska passion hai, so she's doing it. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the things. The second thing definitely is that it is hard to make your voice heard. Every time you're in a room full of men, you have to kind of make your point, exaggerate it even more, because people are not really willing to take it very seriously. But other than that, I've been treated very well. Like, people have been kind. They've listened to me. They've believed in me. And I think my one advice to women out there would be that never stop working. Whether you have a baby or you're married or anything comes your way, always work, even if it's from home. And it's the only way to earn respect from the opposite sex. That's one. The second thing I would say is that because of the pandemic, I know a lot of people today have lost their jobs, don't know what the future looks like. I'd say, hang in there. I feel the same way. I don't know what the future of the brand looks like either, but just keep working. Whether you're doing a new course, if you don't have a job, learn something new. Or sharpen a skill set you already have, read something, or do something you never had the time to do. I think this is both a blessing and a curse, because we are getting so much time, but we just don't know what to do with it. That's all.
Well, that definitely needs to be kept in mind. Now, you've also undergone a round of fundraising, House of Masaba, $1 million with Binny Bansal. What was that utilized towards? Are you in talks with any other investors?
So we did raise money with Binny and a bunch of other investors last year. It was mainly towards, it was more of a strategic sort of investment, where we were really growing as a very bootstrapped company. So when we had to grow in terms of, we needed to add more manpower, we needed to put more muscle behind the supply chain. We needed to add just a bit more technology for various parts of the business. So all of the funds were directed towards that, because I think we couldn't see where the next leg of growth would come from. Apart from that, we did open a couple of stores with the same funds as well. But today we've changed our strategy a little bit. We are focusing more on the online business, on the e-commerce business. We have an e-commerce site which is doing extremely well in the pandemic. And I think the idea now will be to try and raise money, if at all, once this pandemic is over, to put more muscle behind the e-commerce business. So that's the plan.
And when it comes to a scene in the series, it's basically where someone is trying to sell you your iconic print and very categorically says that Masaba is a country in Africa. While that was clearly hilarious, it must have been quite frustrating for you.
So I think I was in Lajpat Nagar in Delhi at a fabric shop when this happened. And I went to buy some fabric and the shopkeeper said, this really nice fresh print has come. It's called a Masaba print. Would you like to take a look? I said, I'm Masaba. And he just looked at me and said, no, you're not. It's a country. And I was like, okay. So, so it was both flattering and frustrating. Because I think it was flattering to see that my work had reached a level where people identify with it just by looking at it, And I think for a designer, there's nothing more that you need. You just need to have a sense of, people should look at my work and I should not be a part of that equation. I don't have to be recognized. My work should be recognized. So that was exciting. But I think ever since then, we discovered that a lot of our work is plagiarized. And we do have to be a bit smarter in the way we deal with it. So yeah, that's what it was. But it was a fun experience, and I actually look at it in good light now.
So what was the experience like doing this series, Masaba, from the scripting to when you got that first call to even shooting for it?
So the producer of the show, Ashwini Yardi, wrote to me about 2 years back and said, I have this incredible new idea. And for the first 2 minutes, I thought she's talking to me about a reality show. And I said, listen, there's no way I'm doing a reality show. But she said, no, it's fiction, it's scripted. And you guys play yourselves and everyone around you is an actor, is cast. So I said, this is a great idea. It's new for India, hasn't been done before. And I loved it because it was a challenge for me, both being in front of the camera and telling my story. And at the same time, I thought it would be really fresh for the Indian audience to watch, because I'm a big consumer of shows on OTT platforms, and I really felt like we don't have our version of two girls having fun, or just a really light, easy, fun watch. So that's how it came to be. And then we got involved, me and my mom, in the scripting of it, in the screenplay writing, dialogue writing, in the art direction, in the costume, everything, because it had to be relatable. And yeah, we shot for about 2 months, exactly this time last year, and here we are.
And I'm sure everyone's curious to understand from you, Masaba, as well, as to what the outlook is for the fashion industry. I mean, things have really taken a 360-degree turn. It's been hit quite brutally. Everyone's pivoting, changing. Digital is the new go-to. What is your sense as to where fashion's headed?
So the one thing I will say is that as creative people, as creative people who run businesses, I think it's very important that we all really decide that we have to be fluid. We have to have very, very fluid, relaxed business plans, because I think all of our 5 and 10 year plans that we all have made are literally nothing today, because they don't stand for much if we live in a world that is altered. If we live in a world where people are not going to be stepping out as much, that changes retail and shopping forever. So I think it's very important, especially for young entrepreneurs, to understand that we have to have business plans that we can adapt to, as opposed to be rigid about them. So I think that's definitely one of the things. The second thing is, any brand that is not putting enough muscle behind both online e-commerce as well as brick and mortar is fooling themselves. Because the thing is, in India, I always say that shopping is an event. You go with your families, you go with friends, it's an outing. So you do need the brick and mortar stores, but you also need the online experience if things are not the same. So that's the second. And the last I will say is that I really think the consumer has become the king today, because they decide value. They decide what luxury is. You don't decide anymore as a brand. So you can create a product and think that it's super exclusive and super luxurious, but at the end of the day, it's in the hands of the consumers to decide what price they want to pay for it. So I think the consumer decides price, they decide value, they decide everything for you today. So yeah, we will have to change, but I think this is all for the better. The e-commerce way has always been a much lighter, more sustainable way to run a business. So yeah, can't wait for what's next.
Yeah, can't wait for things to just resume. And tell us about a memorable scene from the series.
Memorable scenes, definitely this one scene that I shot where we've done a fashion show on top of a boat. And it did happen in real life as well, and it's slightly exaggerated for camera in the show, but it was a very, very harrowing experience in real life. And in real life, let me tell you, it was impossible to shoot it because we were shooting all night on a boat. And yeah, that was the most memorable because that was the only time I relived every single thing that happened actually in real life. So that was exciting. But what's next for Masaba? Well, I'm just waiting for the release, and hopefully the pandemic eases up and we can launch new collection that's been in the pipeline for so long. So that's about it.
And I have to ask, Masaba, before we let you go, we're a business news channel. Do you handle your finances? Who does? Are you saving your money? Where are you doing that?
Oh, money. Well, I'll tell you this, that save up for enough and more rainy days. I think that's what this lockdown has taught me, that, the things we spend money on, we don't really need half the time. I do have an accounts team that takes care of my finances, which is the same for the brand. But apart from that, my stepfather, he's an accountant. He's been with PwC, so he's a master of where to save your money, what to do with it. So I take his advice a lot. But apart from that, I take care of my own money, and I make sure to save up enough for tough days.
Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. We've really covered all topics. All the very best for your show. I'm sure people can't wait to binge watch Masaba. Masaba, thanks for joining in.
Thank you.